Hello, and welcome back to the Make Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about their favorite TV show, Survivor. This week we'll be covering episode 11, not 10, of Survivor China, Survivor 15, because Survivor 10 was just a recap episode, and we don't need to recap what we've already recapped. But
You
before,
tell them.
but before we get into it, Riley, how are you?
Well, hi, Maddie. How are you?
Well, hi, how are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you for asking. I left my light on so you guys can get sort of like a new ambiance, sort of kind of my bedroom.
That's why you
Yeah,
did it.
exactly why I did it. I have two things to say today. The first one I came up with when Maddie and I were having our pre-talk, but I think this is so silly, so I just am gonna share this. This isn't ultimately the thing I'm gonna share, but I have eczema. Everybody, I think that's just a thing a lot of Asian people have specifically.
Thank you for
But I
being brave
also
and coming, speaking your truth on this.
thank you. You're so welcome. I also think the white side of me, my white family also has it, so I think I was just destined for failure when it came to having eczema. Um, and I recently, oh, this is such exciting news. Recently got a dermatologist. So exciting. And so I'm able to get more. Well, the thing is I don't necessarily want to use steroid cream because steroid cream is bad because your skin can get like addicted,
Yeah.
and then you go through withdrawals with it. There's a whole thing. But ultimately, steroids do what they need to do, and sometimes you just have to do it. Because sometimes my hands, you guys, it gets really bad. So, I went to my dermatologist because I had an allergy appointment, to get allergy test. You might be wondering what I'm allergic to. I'm allergic to wool alcohol.
Thank you for that update. I
Um,
was on the edge of my seat waiting to find out what you were
you're
allergic
so
to.
welcome. You're so welcome that I just updated you all. Wool alcohol. There's a science name that it mostly goes by, is most commonly found in moisturizers, and found out it is
No.
used in the hand cream that I have been using for like the past X amount of years.
Oh my
So
god, so that's why it hasn't been working.
yeah. So not great. Have to sort of work around that now, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not in too many things. It's in Aquaphor as well, but I don't use Aquaphor,
I
so
use
it's okay.
Aquaphor. I'm not
Um,
allergic.
Anyway, so trisimilone is this is I'm gonna cover I'm just gonna sort of cover my personal information. This is the ointment that I use, and you're not supposed to use a lot of this. Like like a little drop goes a long way, and this tube can last me months. Depending on how many like flare-ups and stuff I have. And so when she asked me, she was like, well, after my allergy test, she was like, well, is there anything you need? Because a dermatologist isn't really somebody you see on a regular basis. It's kind of like a one and done thing, unless you like need them. So I was like, I could really use it one more refill on this. And she was like, sure, that's so easy. And when I thought one refill, I thought that I was just getting this, is
Mm-hmm.
what I thought. And then I went to the pharmacy today to pick up my order. And why did I um get
How many is that?
I don't even know how many in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tubes.
You're set for years.
The pharmacist told me, your dermatologist put in a tub of the ointment, a tub, but we don't have the tub, so we just gave you a bunch of the small ones. And I was like, he gave them to me, and I said, these are all for me, and he was like, yeah, they're all for you. And I went, and then I was at a Walmart pharmacy, and then the old man at the door tried to stop me and was like, he was like, "Can I see your receipt?" And I'm like, "This is medication." And he was like, "Oh, okay, you're good to go." So that's sort of what's going on. That is not what I wanted to share today. I'm going to share two things because I needed to put this also out there. We all know I go through my phases of like my obsessions on YouTube. I'm thinking that I need to buy YouTube Premium or YouTube Red or whatever it is because the amount of time I spend on this app is crazy. Thinking about that yesterday, actually, I was like, I watch more on YouTube than I watch on any other platform.
Mm-hmm.
I should just buy this monthly service so then I don't have to get ads anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I also kind of like ads because in my head I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing my small thing to support creators. So
Mm.
that's my own thing. My personal my addiction, I don't know, my obsession right now is this YouTuber Sally Dar Griffin. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm
Sh-
not.
She was a TikToker, and I remember I followed her in her YouTube because I used to watch her on TikTok. I don't think she posts a lot on TikTok, and I also don't remember what kind of content she was posting on TikTok, if I'm being 100% honest. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember why I was kind of obsessed with her. But she's moving out of LA right now, and
Love
her
to see
last
it.
I know her last four videos are titled "Time to Get Rid of My Things," "1 Month Left," "I Should Start Packing Up My Apartment." And I have been seeing these in my recommended, but I haven't watched her ever prior to about 4 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw these videos. I'm like, I need to know what the tea is. So I started watching it, and I was like instantly obsessed with her and her content. But she's like quickly moving out of LA, and she was like, I was like, what's the tea on this? Because I remember she hang out with a lot of like influencers. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that being something in my brain, but like none of these people are even shown or mentioned. But then I scroll back, you can see now. I went back and I have been watching all of her videos. I don't know why I'm obsessed with her, and her content, her personality, her vibe. I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
love. But I went back to about a year ago, last summer, and started from there and just went forward. And she has all of these videos with her friend group. They call themselves the Redacted Friend Group. And
Why do I feel like I've heard of that?
I have no idea. Some of the people you might know, Matt King, who formerly was in
Yeah.
yeah, Matt King, Brooke, who has a podcast, Brooke and Connor's podcast. Do you
Brooke
know?
Averick?
Yeah.
I love her.
She's in this friend group. Connor, I think Connor's
Yeah.
more on the sideline, but Connor's
Yeah.
in the friend group. Those are the only people that are like new, and it seems like a lot of the other people maybe aren't influencers, but they're like just adjacent in this group.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're all part of this group. And the last summer, literally a year ago, was she had vlog after vlog with these friends. They had a whole like adult summer camp thing. They were hanging out. There's like an hour long 4th of July special with this friend group, but now none of her friends are in her most recent videos with her moving. Her roommate Megan was featured in a lot of these videos, and now Megan wasn't featured in any of these move out videos. And did we talk about the ballerina
Oh,
thing? Was that your thing last week, or was that before we talked? I can't
I
remember.
think we might have just talked about it between the two of us.
Oh, okay. Well, that has nothing to do, because now I'm like, oh, now I'm talking about drama, and you talked about drama last week, but you didn't talk about it on the thing. Anyway, so like I am in my brain, I'm like, I need to know what happened in this friend group, like because last year, literally a year ago, she was like, I love my friends. My friends are the only reason why I'm still in LA. Like, I love this friend group. She went to like a bunch of weddings, like Matt King's wedding last year. She went to it and
Yeah.
like vlogged the process, and it made me so excited for my travels because she did a lot of traveling within the last
There
year.
you
Maddie, how are you?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking.
You're so
I'm-
welcome.
yeah, my currently in the other room, my sister and her friend are here. And so we've just been hanging out, having fun. Took a few days off work, which was so nice. Um, before I get into what I've been up to and what I want to talk about, the US, I think, needs to adopt I'm only speaking about Sweden because I do not know if this happens in other countries, but they take all of July off every year.
Or like
Yeah,
Independence Day or
for
something,
like
or
summer break.
oh, like everybody takes it off.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm assuming
Well,
things work
not
differently for like
everybody.
essential
Yeah.
services,
Yeah.
but like the vast majority of the country takes all of July off every year,
Interesting.
and it's like mandatory, I think. And I want that. Like, I want a summer break badly. So that's how I'm feeling about that. But one exciting thing that we've been working on is we have been getting into air dry clay. And so we were just like playing around with it because I've been seeing it on TikTok a lot. And let me show where we're at
The
right now.
audience. Oh, yes.
Yes. So I don't think I have any really good pictures of it. I have been seeing people make little bathtubs to put like their jewelry in the bathroom. And I was like, okay, I need to make that.
Hmm.
And that looks like that currently. Oh. It will be painted. But then that turned into, so I have this people, if you saw it you'd recognize it, like a cubby thing from IKEA, and it's like 8 squares and then you can put little bins in it. And I only have 4 bins, but 8 bin holes. And so then we were like, what if we make furniture and make a tiny living room out of one of the holes?
Oh.
And so we have, let's see here, a couch and a matching chair.
A couch and a matching chair. A couch and a matching chair.
And then we also have a rug and a little ottoman and a coffee table and a TV and a TV stand.
Wow.
And also like a bowl and a cup and a garbage can. And they will all be painted. And then I'm going to make it like a tiny little living room within this
Aw,
cubby
that's
thing.
cute.
And they're all just like a fun little style. I don't know. At first I thought it'd be funny to like recreate my living room into clay, but then I was like, well, I just want it to be like cute and fun. So stay tuned for that. They have been taking a while to dry, but I think we are going to paint them tonight.
Now, are they opposite of hollow? What's the opposite of hollow?
Solid.
Are they solid? Like just blocks of clay?
Some items are. Some are not.
It's probably that would be my guess why they're taking so long to dry.
Yes.
But what a fun! I was just thinking about how I wanted to get back into clay. That was like my childhood craft.
Okay, well, when you come over, we can get more clay because this is so much fun. A little messy, but so fun.
I was in the sort of the oven bake realm, is where I was
like
at.
The Easy Bake Oven.
No, like Sculpey.
Oh, oven baked clay.
Primo. Yes, oven baked clay.
Got it.
Yes.
I don't think I ever really got into clay as a kid.
I was so into it. I watched all the YouTubers that did it, and I was convinced that was going to be my job. Was I was going to make clay little like figures and keychains and things like that, and sell them on Etsy.
I love that.
Maybe I should. I'm gonna get back into it. I'm sure that they're like. It can't be that hard, right?
No, it's not. I don't think it's that hard.
Right.
We've just been crafting like every night. We also made slime. This is my first time making slime. I've learned that I do not have slime hands, as they say. I just always struggle with it being too sticky. I think it might be my hands are too warm. Is the conclusion I've come to. But that's what I've been up to. We're crazy. We're so
kind of just living our lives right now. Like,
I know.
Literally, these are the best days of our lives.
These are the days. These are the good old days. Anyways, should we get into the episode?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Great episode. Fun episode.
Great episode. And, okay, we open with what was alluded to at least 2 episodes ago, which I think I maybe talked about last time about how this annoyed me. But they're still at Tribal. Jeff tells them that they have more business to attend to at Tribal after voting for Frosty. And it's a reward challenge. The winner will be taken by private jet to a remote temple in the mountains. It's from the 5th century in the birthplace of Kung Fu, which we will get to see more of later. And they also get to spend the night there, get a nice meal, and the winner gets to choose 2 people to go along.
I'm kind of upset. Why are you putting us on the tip of our toes, the edge of our seat, just for it to have been a reward challenge?
Yes, I thought it was going to be 2 people were going to be voted out.
I couldn't remember what the twist was, but that was kind of a letdown. Like, imagine waiting 2 weeks for that.
And yes, and it also is like they didn't just get to immediately go.
No, like they still had to wait until the morning.
Yeah. So like,
and then they were like,
could have waited.
They're like, oh, Jeff was like, you're gonna be leaving really early in the morning. It was light out, like
yeah, so it wasn't
really early in the morning is like the sun is rising,
or like it's dark.
Yeah, it's dark. Like the sun was up, which means it was probably 6 or 7. To me, early morning.
Earliest.
I mean, that is early, but like, you have to leave early in the morning. That's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So, but it was a fun challenge, I guess.
Yeah. The actual bulk of the challenge was they were asked questions on Chinese culture, and the first person to get 5 points wins. And it was kind of fun playing along to the questions.
The questions were kind of easy, I felt like.
I also felt that way. I
Um,
didn't count how many I got right, but it was multiple.
I think there was one that I wasn't sure. I think it was the bamboo one for the pandas. I don't remember. Which
Mhm.
there was one question that I was like, I don't know if that's true or not, but it ended up
Mhm.
being true. I can't
I think it was
100%.
that the pandas have like a 90 something percent diet
Yeah,
of bamboo, which
but
did know.
I can't remember if that was a question that I was like unsure about.
Mhm.
Uh, or maybe I don't know. But it was a fun. It was a easy little reward challenge.
It was, which was kind of annoying with all the buildup that it was so easy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
PG wins the reward and chooses Eric bleh, and Denise to go with her.
Um I would have I mean, I guess. I could see why PG picked those people, hoping that Denise is sort of like the crack that she needs to like break in.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Yeah, we can get to that, but like in more detail. But I also saw that PG taking Denise because Denise is like such a swing vote at the moment and like not really
yeah.
committed. But then like even through this, Denise would not commit.
See, that's what I'm saying is I'm like Denise on paper seems like she would be the swing vote because she's very clearly on the bottom of the leftover OG Red Tribe.
Yeah.
But she has shown time and time again that she is 100% committed to the Red Tribe. As much as she likes to pretend that she's wavering back and
Yeah.
forth, or the edit is making it seem like she is,
Like she's
like
not.
she's not.
Yeah. So the next morning, the boat comes to take PG, Eric, and Denise to the temple, and Denise points out that it's nerve wracking to leave camp and not know what's going on with the people that are left behind, which is a good point. After they leave, the remaining four of James, Todd, Courtney, and Amanda are happy to talk about it being just them and them being a top four, except for Amanda, because she's like, I don't feel comfortable going to the final three with any of these people.
This was a good episode for Amanda.
It really was.
We haven't had a ton of strategy episodes for Amanda. But this was really good. I
Mm-hmm.
don't should I know we're having whoa. A part of our fan base is watching along and doesn't really know a lot of Survivor lore necessarily, or I guess the
Mm-hmm.
outcome. Definitely does not know the outcome of the season. Should I wait to share my thoughts about like the Survivor series until the end of the season? Is that
Yes.
okay? Okay, then I'll wait. But this is a really good episode for Amanda. I was like, okay, Queen, go off.
I know.
Where's this Amanda been the whole time?
So true. Well, on the reward, we have PG, Eric, and Denise getting into this fancy private jet, and they just don't do cool rewards like this anymore.
Oh my gosh! Like, imagine you got to get into a jet.
A private jet to go to a once in a lifetime experience and
Literally once in a lifetime.
in the coolest location. Like, oh my god.
Like,
Where's the budget
okay,
these days?
you could travel to China and then pay money to go do that, but like, you're doing this, I mean, kind of for free,
Yeah.
which is really exciting. And it's just you and two other people,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's quite fun. I quite enjoy like this is I'm not big into reward challenges these days or challenges, sorry, not reward challenges, but like reward experiences or challenges, I guess. But like if this is the content, I was watching this and I was like, "Oh, I'm actually like interested to see what is coming from this."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then PG, as they're on the private jet, starts talking about how this would be a good group to be a final three. But as we know, Denise is not really interested in this.
Hmm.
And then they pull up to the temple and they're greeted by the monks. And PG is talking about how cool it is to get to experience this as someone who is Chinese. Which I is just another piece that is so cool. Like,
I think that's so amazing.
I love that. Um, Also, Denise is really stoked to be there because she is actually in karate school and is on her way to becoming a black belt.
Isn't that wild?
She's been in karate school for like I think 8 years. She said she started at 32. She's currently 40.
Like, that was not on my bingo card for the season
No, not at all.
for Denise.
And it
Yeah.
gets better, but we'll
Get
we'll
there.
get there. So they get to watch a demonstration of Kung Fu, and it was so cool to watch. These people were breaking things on each other and themselves, like wood and like, I don't know, looks like metal stuff. They were doing these flips. It was
Do a flip.
they were so
Do a
in
flip.
sync. Literally. And then a bunch of karate kids, kung fu kids.
Oh, you ate that. You ate that.
Come out and teach them the kung fu moves. This is where we get to see Denise show off her karate moves, and she was just so happy to have been picked for this reward.
I know. You think she would have been happy enough to flip?
Her
But-
little routine.
Her little routine was so cute.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, good on her.
And also, this is just personality stuff that we don't get to see otherwise. Because when they're just sitting there nowadays at the sanctuary where good things happen, it's always just like they're talking strategy while eating food.
While eating, like, not even like Fijian like cuisine. It's always
No.
just like a cold pizza
Or
like
Applebee's.
or Applebee's.
Yeah. Like they just don't
Or spaghetti. Sometimes it's spaghetti.
like they don't just get to experience something cool and enjoy it. It's always like
If I won a reward and the reward was spaghetti, I'm so sorry, Maddie. I know this is controversial. I think I would like I'd die.
yeah, I'd be really upset.
Like,
Especially Survivor
I-
spaghetti.
Like, I would actually like cry tears, and not in a happy way. Not in a Denise getting to do karate in China way. I literally would be like, take it back. I don't want it.
I don't think this is right for me. I want to go home. Yeah, me too. And then later that night, they get to eat some dinner that looks incredible and have a little slumber party in the temple.
Yeah, literally perfect 3 for a slumber party. PG, Eric, and Denise. Like, literally sounds like a hell of a time.
The Holy Trinity.
Literally, that's what I've always said.
Back at camp, it is raining. Everything is soaked and flooding, and they're miserable. They all start hiding in this little cave that later on Courtney's like, this was my cave, and now everyone is in it and people are talking. Can they
That
not?
would have pissed me off.
Yeah.
That's not y'all's hiding spot. That's my hiding spot.
Get your own cave.
Exactly.
And then the three come back from the reward to everyone hiding in this tiny cave. And Denise tells Todd about how PG and Eric were talking about Final 3 and how PG wants to get Todd out, which obviously Todd is not happy about. And yeah. And then Todd's like, well, PG's annoying and no one's going to vote with her anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Denise, have some decorum. Have some balls
Yeah.
of your own. Like, have your own standing in the game. Why do you need to run back and tell Todd everything?
The person in charge.
I guess it's like kind of understandable, because if it does end up getting back to Todd anyway, like if Eric were to go up to him or something, I don't know, that on the reward Denise, PG, and Eric were talking about it, and Denise never told Todd that directly. Like, I could understand it turning around on Denise, but I'm also like, you're at the final 7. There's only 4 more people to get voted out. Like, you kind of have to start just like burning bridges at this point.
True. So true. Well,
You think you're gonna win against Todd?
yeah, at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she just showed us her karate moves.
And I hope she does. If she gets to Final Trouble Council, I hope she does that performance.
That'll the performance of $1 million.
And a million hearts.
And she's the original Bono.
She is.
Eric then tells James about PG wanting to get Todd out, and then James just roasts Eric, says he's not very bright.
Get him,
and
James. Get him.
and he wants to stick to the original tribe numbers of the 5 versus the 2 of PG and Eric. We'll see how that works out for him.
I'm just like, James, I wish.
James, who are you
I
going to
don't
be
know.
calling Eric not very bright in this moment?
Also, I don't really understand. I guess I do understand. I don't know. Like, James, I wish. If I were James, I'd be like, what is my pathway to the end other than winning? Like, he is the biggest threat in the game.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he has two. I guess not everybody.
Soon to be everybody.
Soon to be everybody's gonna know. But like, what is the pathway to the end?
What is
like,
his
do
game?
you think if you get to the end with Courtney, Amanda, and Todd, that you would find your way into a final 3? Like, the only way you do that is if you won the final immunity. And like we talked about last episode, James is not necessarily like a challenge threat
No.
in this individual portion of the
And
game.
it is also interesting how so much of the game or like individual challenges have been like thought and knowledge and like
Mhm.
paying attention to your surroundings based. They're not
Mhm.
necessarily just strength. And he's proved to not be very good in any of those.
Read them.
Just did.
Period.
The next morning, Amanda and Courtney are talking about getting rid of James since he won't expect it. Amanda wants him out because he has the 2 idols, obviously, is helpful around camp, and allegedly can be good in challenges. So he needs to go ASAP.
APAC.
APAC. And that pretty much wraps up this section. We get to the immunity challenge, and it looks hard. I don't think I would do very well. Each person has to throw throwing stars at some targets, and the targets each have a certain number of points they get from hitting it, and the highest scores move on to the final round. The person with the most amount of points wins. I have never thrown a throwing star, but I feel like I would cut my fingers.
I don't know if that would happen.
Like, where do you even hold it?
Well, the middle, I would assume.
Yeah, but then like
No, I think you hold it on one of the blades, and then you just let go. As long as you don't try to like grab it after you like.
Do you think you could Amazon some throwing stars?
Keep talking.
Basically, a bunch of people in the beginning. Originally, only 3 people were going to move on to the final round, but 4 of them, including Courtney, tied at 6 points. And in the end, Eric wins, which is fine for him, I guess.
They don't really sell real ninja stars. It isn't necessarily something that they do. They have foam and plastic.
Okay.
And rubber. Yeah. So like practice ones.
The FBI agent on your phone is collecting some interesting information from that search.
Well, hopefully he'll also watch the this pod
for the context.
Once it's up for the context and understand.
I might have to wait a few weeks. Well, do you have any thoughts on this challenge other than
it looked really hard? And it's also really simple. I think this is like a reoccurring theme that we've talked about this season. Is a lot of these challenges just seem super simple, but sometimes simple is just kind of like
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Right. Love the abbreviation. Did you come up with that?
No.
Oh.
Are you joking?
I've never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where'd you hear that from?
Like everywhere. Just living my life.
Okay. I just moved to America. I'm not familiar with pop culture.
Yeah.
POV and Plastic Tiara
Yeah.
and Drag Race season 11.
Yes.
I forgot what we were talking about. KISS. K KISS space MY space ASS.
What did the rest of those stand for?
I'll tell you later. So, yeah, the challenge just seemed really simple. Very hard though. I'm assuming they got some practice time before it. But I feel like people who went later had more of an advantage.
Yeah.
Like if I were PG who went first, I would have been a little upset
Yeah.
because like I feel like people can like see how you're doing it and sort of like go from there. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, after that, they get back to camp, and Amanda tells Todd that they need to take James out. But Todd is like, we need to focus on PG because she's doing really well in challenges after she just did really bad in this challenge. But she did win 2 in a row. But
I understand what he's saying, but we lest we must we. I don't know why I said lest. I don't think lest is a word. Must we forget that she has done terrible in literally every single other challenge?
exactly. And that James has 2 immunity idols.
Like, girl, Todd, it's not adding up.
But then Todd says that ultimately he'll do whatever everyone else feels comfortable with. Then Denise,
That's so kind of doubtful.
that's 2 words I would use to describe Todd. All season. Denise points out that if James uses the idol, it could turn on Todd. So they decide to tell James that they're all voting PG.
Yeah.
PG and Eric then find James' idol.
Why was it up in the
Tuck-
shelter like that?
And they're like, who sleeps on this side? Basically, they piece together that it's James's idol. And then PG goes to Amanda. And we'll get to it, but I see where Amanda's coming from on this. PG, in maybe not the nicest tones, like, did you even know about this? And did you even know that there's an idol in existence? And Amanda's like, yeah, why are you coming for me like this? What's with the attitude? And Amanda's just like, yeah, I know. And then PG tells Eric that they should vote Todd in case James plays his idol, and they all vote for him.
PG, I'm obsessed with you, but also you just didn't look great. Like that was not.
That came off so mean.
It came off a little mean, and it's also hard to watch her. Like her and Eric find this out approximately 5 episodes later. Like he's had 2 idols for a hot minute, y'all. And
I can't believe they didn't. I didn't know that they didn't know.
Eric had to have known. Him and Jamie were the 2 that saw.
Yeah.
The 2 things.
So really, it was just PG finding out.
And then PG was like, "Do you know?"
And he was like, "No."
Mary, do you know that your baby boy? That's a song that I'm working on.
Okay.
You'll hear a little bit more. I think I'm gonna put it out come December. Hopefully nobody beats me to it. So we
gotta copyright claim that.
PG was just really interesting in this scene. I think Amanda. Oh my god, Amanda handled it really well. I really liked her basically pleading. She was like, PG, please just be quiet. PG, literally,
PG,
I
don't
promise
do
you,
anything.
Please don't do anything for your own sake. Do not do anything today. I promise you, you will be okay.
Yeah. That was very good. Yeah, that was, those 2. Then Amanda and James talk about voting PG, and James is like, we have to. I don't want to go home before she does. And he also says that he is going to bring both his idols to Tribal, and he will play them if he has to.
Period.
Well, guys, we get to Tribal, and Jeff says that Denise is beaming after she went on that reward. And I think she says something like, oh, I have the energy to play again. Like, my zest for life. She didn't say that. Zest for life is renewed.
That's very 2007 core. The phrase "zest for life," I don't know why, it
She
just
just live,
gives me
laugh, loving.
it gives me Amy Adams and Julia and Julie,
I don't know. I've never seen it.
the Julia Child movie.
Oh.
Amy Adams, 2001, post
Mm.
9/11. She works
Oh.
at a call center
Oh.
for people who are like grieving because their loved ones died in 9/11.
Really?
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
then
know
she was like, I want to like become happy. So what makes me happy? Cooking. And I think her
Yeah.
name, I think it's Julia and Julia, like Amy Adams' character. This is based off a true story, by the way.
I am
Julia,
familiar with Julia Child.
well, yeah, but like kind of the idea of like what I just described, the plot of the movie kind of sounds a little like wild, but this did happen, IRL. And Julia in present day being like 2002 at this point, is like, I'm gonna make a blog
Mhm.
and go through a Julia Child's famous cookbook and cook every single recipe.
Mm.
And that's kind of what the movie's about, but it's a side by side of both of their lives. So it's like Julia Child's learning how to cook, sort of, and then Amy Adams, Julia Child played by Meryl Streep,
Okay.
and the gay man that's not gay is in the movie in Hunger Games.
PETA.
What's the game? No, blue hair. Hunger Games host. Who's the host of the Hunger Games?
Oh, Stanley Tucci.
Yes, Meryl Streep's husband in the movie. Also,
Oh.
that character does seem a little freaky, but they're married boy girl, not boy or girl girl. Anyway, I just don't know why, but I feel like Amy Adams' character in the movie would say, "Oh, I just have a zest for life."
Thank you for bringing that back around. Then they talk about the Fei Long numbers and that PG and Eric are trying to infiltrate the group, and there's a lot of tension between PG and James.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah,
I mean, PG had a point.
she did. She is still there. She is still there to this
So
day.
true.
They left her.
So true.
They all agree that you can't trust anybody, and everyone but Eric, because he has immunity, says that they feel like it could be them tonight. Because obviously, why would you put your hand up and say you're comfortable? That makes no sense.
Especially at the final 7, like as we see, literally anything can happen.
Yeah. Also crazy. It's the final 7, about to be final 6.
Ah!
Well, they get to the vote, and things are feeling a little familiar to present day Survivor. James goes home with 2 idols in his pocket.
That was a good callback. That's a good like Survivor 46 reference, like looping it all back together. That's wild. This will in the Survivor, well, okay, not to spoil Survivor season 16, but
Mhm.
for a good couple months, people were like, "Oh my god, this is the worst move."
Voting out
Anybody
James or going home with 2 idols in your pocket?
going home with 2 idols in their pocket.
Yeah.
Worst move, like worst thing that has happened on Survivor. Like that, James. They're like, James, you should be embarrassed. Like
I mean, kinda.
kind of. And he gets overthrown the very next season
Okay.
by like the infamous bad move. Um, but this was like, what a big blunder. How do
Yeah.
you come home? And so then you kind of think like realistically, he could have played one tonight, one next vote, and then the thing is like I understand why he didn't because they expire at the final 5. So it's like this was kind of the final 7 final. Yeah, he would have wanted to play one at the final 6 and then played one at the final 5, and that would have gotten him a spot in the final 4 because the
Mhm.
last time you can play it as the final 5 though. So this is really like the perfect time to get him out. Really the last opportunity to get him out. And the fact that he didn't even expect it is what's shocking to me because that would have been the only thing on my mind had I had 2 idols. Like
Yeah.
this is the last time that I can be voted out until the final 4. Like I have to be on edge tonight or else.
Yeah.
And it's like literally didn't even cross his mind. Like he seems
I
just so hyper focused.
did he know that PG knew about the one idol?
I don't think so.
Okay, because if I were him and if I knew that information, I would play it. Maybe I would play it. Because then like you get to another vote, and then they're gonna think. I think I would use the opportunity to maybe get like PG or someone out. I think I would just play one of them and then feel out my feelers for the next vote and then like maybe use it, maybe not. You know? Depending on who you
I
got out that night.
I think I think this is a very new era mindset on my part to be thinking this move, but to me, I feel like the perfect move this episode for Eric oh my god, for Eric and PG would have been to after Amanda was like, "Don't worry."
Hmm.
PG very clearly caught on that they were gonna get James out tonight.
Yeah.
And I think the better move would have been to tell James to play his like Eric or PG to go up to James and be like, "You should play your idol
Yeah, I
tonight."
don't really know why.
And then the three of them could have gotten Todd, Amanda, Denise, or Courtney out. Probably Todd out.
That's what I thought this was going to, where this was going to go.
I think that would have been the better move because then I feel like James would have been indebted. I feel like James is the type of person to have been like, okay, I can't trust these people over here.
Yeah.
Let me work with Eric because then it would have been a 6-6 split, or it would have been a final 6. It would have been a 3-3 split. James would have had one more idol to play.
Yeah.
So then that would have at least gotten him to 5, and hopefully like maybe there could have been a tie or maybe like something. Maybe Denise would have flipped too, and then they could have flipped on Courtney and Amanda.
Yeah.
Like I think for longevity purposes, who knows what's gonna happen next episode, but I think I know what's gonna happen next episode. I think like a good move, the better move would have been to loop James in and try to get his trust through this.
Yeah, that is a really good point. And then if it
Because
fails,
I don't think James is
there's no
gonna win.
harm.
If it fails, there's no harm. I don't think James is gonna win. I don't think James would have won. I don't think like obviously he's a very like strategic threat, but people
Mhm.
don't really like him. Courtney doesn't really vibe with him.
No.
I like PG and Eric and Jamie probably feel a little
He's really been
backstabbed by him.
Unwilling to work with people.
Yeah, so
He's
like I don't
constantly calling
necessarily
people dumb.
I don't know exactly. And I don't know if I were PG and Eric, like I feel like it would have been a good final 3 for the two of them.
Yeah.
Like PG, Eric, and James. A final 3. Like I feel like there still could have been. I don't know. Obviously this happened 24 years ago at this point, so
24 years ago.
I don't know. Okay, how am I to know how long ago it happened? How am I to know?
Is it 17?
Okay. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, those are good thoughts.
Thank you.
Bye, James. Final 6.
He bit that apple. James is in his brat summer. Oh,
I would love to
this
see
is
James
my
do that.
this was my fidget toy this episode.
Oh, I have a unused Q-tip.
Maddie and I did a little bit of a haircut tutorial before this episode started.
Well, I didn't do a haircut tutorial. Can you do another haircut tutorial?
You'll have to get subscribe to the Patreon for that. Tier 2. We'll do haircut tutorial for
And
tier
you'll
2.
give out the hair?
Hey, if enough people want it.
If the price is right.
I have a garbage can full of hair back there, so
We're set then.
we are set for life.
Well, thank you for watching this episode of the Making Fire podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this video and to our YouTube channel. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Making Fire Pod, because we will get back to posting on there. Hopefully. And that's it for this episode. So thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
I can't wait to see how this turns out. Smooches!